Hey guys, it's me, Anarchist, Sobath, whatever. This is my second vlog. It's not going to be as emotional as the first one. I just wanted to give you a little update of how I'm doing and then talk about the whole dialysis thing. It's been about a month since my surgery for kidney transplant. God bless my cousin who donated to me. So far I'm doing really good. My medicines have been continually just decreasing. A lot of these meds I'm only supposed to take for the first couple months. A couple just for the first month. And since time has gone, it's steadily decreasing, which is great because I thought I was gonna be like on all kinds of shit. And we all know that taking a lot of meds isn't really good for you, anyways. But all my doctor visits have been good. I had a little scare about a week ago where we had forgotten to put certain pills, the really important one, in the pill case, and I was just gobbling it down. And before I realized that I had missed a couple doses, but we immediately went to the doctor the next day, and everything looked good, and like the follow-up, everything looked good. So I guess it turns out that no consequences from it. Thank you, the universe, whatever. What else? I had a bit of pain in the sensitive area for a while, but turns out it's just residual pain from the surgery, I suppose. So that's good too. What else? So far, doing good. I'm just stir crazy here at my house, trying to avoid people sick. I have to be afraid of the sun because the meds make me 10 times more susceptible to skin cancer, which I guess is just like regular now since I'm kind of, as you can see, I'm pretty brown. So I have some protection, but no, you don't want to take the risk with the C word. Yeah, so far so good. I can't wait. I mean, not working is pretty awesome, but kind of started thinking about going back. I mean, it's getting so boring here. I mean, it's awesome being home, but after a while, you need some stimulation or whatever, even if it is like the stress of work. I wanted to talk about in this video about the whole dialysis experience. So before I even went on dialysis, me and my nephrologist knew that I was going to have to go on it eventually. It's kind of like people who have kidney disease. It's kind of like that's like the inevitability, unless you're lucky for some reason. Some people do have remissions, but at the end, after a while, everyone ends up there if they don't have a kidney transplant ready to go already. So that wasn't the case for me. So the prudent thing to do was get a fistula. So a fistula is a surgical procedure where they short circuit a vein somewhere in your body, usually the arms or lower arm, upper arm, whatever. Because when they short circuit the arteries, it causes blood to flow a lot more through there, and when that happens, blood vessels tend to grow a lot larger. Because you need a large vein to access in dialysis when they stick the needles in you. So I went to this doctor, some UCLA Keck school, whatever. I actually forgot his name. His office was kind of crappy because there's so many people there. I guess he was really popular, but it turns out he was really good, But I remember waiting one time like for 45 minutes just to see the guy for 10 minutes. Anyways, that was shit. But it turns out he was a really good doctor. The day of the hospital, I kind of just went by myself. Or I think Lana dropped me off. I don't remember. It was really crazy. They gave me some really good sedatives. I remember that because I was super nervous because surgery is fucking big deal. And when they gave it to me, I didn't care anymore. They wheeled me in. I got knocked out. It was funny too because I think they still did the. Oh no, they didn't. They did the. I just felt the real coldness in my arm when they injected me with the anesthesia, and I was out like a light. I woke up in a whole bunch of pain, like. They cut into my arm, they cut right into my elbow, I guess, to do the work, which is, I guess, good because when you have a scar in your elbow, it's not as apparent because that's like where, your skin is kind of like darker in that area. But you could already feel the vein that they short circuit right here. But anyways, my arm was totally wrapped. I was in so much pain. I was groggy as hell. I was just thinking the whole time how much I wanted to see Lana. And then she came in, and I was just so grateful. I think I started crying. I know it's stupid, but when you're on the meds, it's like all out there. That was really cool. I went home, took a couple weeks to recover, and then I just had like a scar on my arm. I think the ones where the stitches just kind of melted away, which is kind of cool, I guess. So they told me to like work the arm, like squeeze or whatever to get the vein like getting bigger and bigger, just to get more blood flow into it. And I kind of was doing that, but I also kind of wasn't. And so it didn't really get as big as like I guess they wanted it to. But anyways, so I'm going to my nephrologist. I had the surgery done, and he tells me that I'm 10% kidney function, right? So that's pretty much when you have to go dialysis. But I told him, like, I was really nervous about it, so I told him maybe we could wait like another month, because I was seeing him every month. So then of course the month came and it's like, you got to do this. I was like, okay. I mean, I just had to. And I guess that was like about 3 years ago, 2012, I guess. And then so they scheduled the day of the dialysis center. The dialysis center was in Pasadena, the Huntington Dialysis Center over there on Fair Oaks. And the people are really nice, you know. They understand you're nervous. This is like something totally new, and it's not going to be easy at all. It's going to fucking hurt. So what the first lady that put me on, her name was Mary Lou, and she was a nurse. And like she was like better than all the other people, because a lot of the other people aren't even nurses. They're just techs, where they just stick you on and do all this stuff. So the first time she actually stuck the needle into me, and like this one was like an 18 gauge needle, and if you guys know what 18 gauges needle look like, it's not small, it's pretty big. I would say like twice or 3 times as big as like the needle used to take your blood or give you medicines, your arm or whatever. But what ended up happening is that she poked it, and I guess I was just like, it was just really like new, I guess. But it ended up where it kind of went through to the other side, where it's like what they call infiltrated. It fucking hurt. So I guess your blood, your vein, or your neurons really react to blood, because of course, you know, when you're bleeding, it wants you to know that you're bleeding. But one of the guys said, "Oh, the only reason it hurts is because there's blood right there." I'm like, "Thanks a lot. I mean, it still fucking hurts, right?" So it was really painful. No dialysis that day. I fucking went home. I had a huge bruise on my arm, like a really ugly red. Like you could actually even push the blood around and like change where it's bruising. It was fucking nasty. So that happened, and then the next time actually. So at this point, I was doing like twice a week, 2 hours a day. So oh my god, it was like when the second hour came by, it was just unbearable. It was just sitting there waiting, and also too, it's like you got these 2 needles in your arms. It's not exactly the most comfortable thing. Some other, like I'm glad I got a fistula because it's all just your stuff, like your veins. But a lot of people get grafts where they actually put a rubber piece in there, and that would have sucked because that takes a lot more maintenance. You have to, a lot of times it could, like, the rubber, I guess, wears out or whatever, and you have to like get it replaced or move to another area, like a whole mess, you know. It's like another surgery. It sucked. One of the things that happen when you get a fistula is that because it's bypassing a lot of, like, the blood is bypassing a lot of the arm that it wouldn't have mostly, it made my arm really cold, like colder than this arm, and usually you could just feel it in my hands, like it was cold. I thought that was kind of weird. So anyways, first time dialysis, the machine, everything's really freaky. Like it's so noisy in there, like not just because people are talking or whatever, but the machines are always like going off, and people are rushing to the machines to see what it's saying. Like a lot of times it's just going off for no fucking reason. Shit's beeping all over the place. It's just really weird. I remember one time watching a dialysis video on YouTube, and I guess they had the same machines, or the machines make the same beep, but it was making that beep, and I couldn't fucking watch it anymore. It was just like, it was exactly the same. It was so crazy. It just brought back all the memories of having dialysis. So I was like, nah. I was like, I know what it's like. I don't need to watch YouTube videos of people getting stuck. You know, it's funny too, because I always wanted to like look at them sticking my needle, but I end up never doing it. I guess, I don't know, I still had that phobia of like watching something go in my skin. I mean, I've had like needles. I'm not even scared of needles. They go into me like so many times now, like since I was a kid, being sick or whatever. But I can never look. Anyways, first time dialysis, it was okay. What they do is, like, they stick the one that's taking your blood lower, and then they I guess closer to the heart or where the flow is, where it starts, where the flow starts, and then they stick another needle at where it exits, and that's the one where the blood goes back in. And the machine's crazy. It's like it pumps like heparin into your bloodstream, which is like an anticoagulant, so the machine doesn't get gunked up, and then your blood runs through a filter that's like also running like a fluid on the outside of it, which like helps it like uptake like all your waste, I guess. So like I said, I did 2 hours, and the second hour was unbearable, and then it came to the point where I wasn't getting enough dialysis, and I had to go to 3 hours, and that was pretty depressing. And 3 days a week, which is even more depressing. And I remember going to dialysis in the morning because I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But every time I would go, I would always be late for work because there's no way I'm getting out in time for even that 2 hours. And it was just, I would just end up at work super sleepy. So eventually I changed it to after work, which I guess wasn't as crazy. And I didn't even used to live here in Alhambra. I used to live in Baldwin Park, and this place was in Pasadena. So even like when I started going at night, I would just go home afterwards, and it would always be like 9:30, 10 o'clock coming home. My whole day's gone, you know. It's just had to go to sleep. And the first time going to dialysis, like my body was still adjusting it, so I was getting cramps like crazy, I guess, because it just takes out your body's not used to having all this stuff removed, you know. Like I guess it was like potassium or something, but I used to get such bad cramps that I was just like calling my mom, and she would like help massage my legs or like just straighten out my legs because they were really powerful cramps. Like I couldn't even straighten it out all with my own strength. The people there were pretty cool, I guess. Some of them were nice. There was one lady that was really old that I was really scared of because every time she fucking pulled the needle out, she would pull it out like just a little bit like crooked, so that the tip of the needle would just scratch me and like cut me, or like it was just, she was bad. I really didn't like her, and she was weird too. And a lot of the other people that worked there were kind of wary of her too. But I feel bad because it's like the only thing. It's probably the only thing she could do. She's old. I know. I feel their plight. My dad's in the same position where he can't even get a job now because he's old, and they're just trying to get by, but they're not dependable, especially in a job like where like people's lives and health depend on you. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. The most thing to take away from the dialysis experience was how fucking boring it got. Like the first time, I would just watch the TVs that they give you, which is like a fucking, like a 12-inch TV, like from the 1980s or something, and they only have like they would only have just whatever was on the air, not even cable or anything. It was so boring. Some of the shows I watched so much like Mexican channels because there was like sexy dancing girls. It was ridiculous, but that's the only thing that caught my attention, really. Everything else is so boring. The news is crap, dude. Especially the local news. They just don't tell you anything. So after a while, I just started bringing candy to eat, and I'm so glad I have a phone. My Note 3 really came in handy. It's a big screen, so all I did was end up watching movie YouTubes for trying to like take the mind away from how long it was to be there. And you know, ended up doing that for like 2 years. First year was watching the random TV. I used to come in when someone would bring a DVD and they had like us you can watch whatever they play, and I watched some of the movies there, but it always came in really grainy on that screen because I guess it had like the copyright protection because they didn't want it to split it to so many screens, so it always ended up looking like crap. Anyways, back to the people. There are some people that are really nice. There was a guy named Chris who was really cool to like, when I was there, to like have him put me on and stuff, because all we did was talk about cars, and like he's kind of a weird dude, a Filipino dude, but yeah, in the end he was pretty cool. Some of the ladies were really nice, they're really friendly. But the thing about Dallas is I never wanted to make any friends, you know. I didn't want to feel like I wanted to be there, like, so I try not to make it as pleasant as it could have been, which is kind of stupid, but I guess in my head I was thinking, I don't want to be here, I don't want anything here to like make me feel good, because I don't want to be here. Maybe just to push myself to like get a transplant, or I don't know. It's just, I was not comfortable talking with other people. I mean, I'll say hi or whatever, but I wasn't trying to engage with them or anything. I just didn't want to be there, you know. Um, so it was interesting to see like how my body was handling it, because it was always like for the first year I was doing good. Like I would have dialysis and I actually could go out afterwards, like go to shows and whatnot, and not feel totally tired. But that didn't last too long, like maybe a year, like I said. And then by the second year, it started to get like to the point where when I came home, I would just be so tired. And maybe like half a year ago, I finally moved to Alhambra, which is great because it's a lot closer to the outlet center. But I was still wiped out sometimes. Sometimes I'll come home like feeling alright, but dialysis just fucking wipes you out. And so let me show you. It used to be like nothing, like just flat. But I guess after a while, the vein right there weakens, and then your constant blood pressure, it just keeps pushing it out until it gets all big and gross like that. I mean, thinking of like what tattoo I could put on there to make it disguise it a bit. But it was in dialysis sucks. Like I hated it. It took so much time from my life that, like I said in the last video, in hindsight I probably would have been wasting it anyway. But it's just that perspective that it gives you. Like, man, you're wasting time here, and you need to like do something about this. It's like time is precious now. I know that for sure. It's like your life is actually really short in the scheme of things. Like, you know, just a blimp in the universe compared to what, 13 billion years. But yeah, I started like started deteriorating. Kidney function just kept going down. They didn't really like, you can really tell what my kidney function was anymore because I'm on dialysis now, just like regular cleaning. But I could tell that I was getting skinnier because during dialysis, the thing about it is like, it takes a lot of your protein from your blood. So my muscles started to like kind of I just started losing muscle mass. I started losing a lot of weight. Like, I was really scared. I was at 130 by the time I was on dialysis, and like in the span of like maybe 2 weeks or a week, I went like to 125. And I told my doctor about it, and he says it was just normal, I guess. He didn't really seem to care about it, but I was fucking scared. And like eventually, I dropped down to almost 120. Like by the time I had my kidney transplant, and you could tell that like I got out of there in the nick of time because my kidney, like the whole time, my kidneys were still kind of working. I was still producing urine, you know. But by the end of it, I wasn't producing at all. I was taking like 2-3 second pisses, and that was it, you know. And then by the end, I would go days without pissing, you know. It's so crazy now because like I'll just be taking long ass piss because I'm like an older dude, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this is something that I'm noticing that I missed. It's so crazy how like different your body is, like just knowing how sick you are. It's fucking crazy. I was actually supposed to get my kidney transplant in March, but I guess something happened where I got a staph infection, and there's no way that I got a staph infection other than fucking someone poking me all fucked up and like spreading the bacteria. So I got sick, so sick. Like I've never been this sick before. Like it started happening when I was at work. Like I didn't eat lunch that day, and then I ended up eating some Jack in the Box tacos, which is probably not the best thing to eat. But I started feeling sick, and I was like, oh, it's just the tacos I ate so late in the day. But then like I started getting hot and like cold at the same time. So then I think I went home early, and like Lana was home. She was doing something, and I just called her on the phone. I was really scared that it was gonna like get in the way of the transplant date, but I didn't know what I had at first. But it turns out it was a staph infection. It was super serious. If I had gotten a kidney transplant with the staph infection after like, giving me all those suppressants, I could have fucking died. Like I could have died then just from having the staph infection. So that was a huge bummer because of course they had to cancel the transplant. My cousin was kind of like upset too because he had to come to California, and they didn't even tell me it was canceled until like maybe a couple days before the actual surgery. So then I had to jump through all these hoops to make sure that the infection there wasn't any residual infection. I had to get like a radioactive scan, like an MRI, not an MRI, but it was something like that. I had to get my blood drawn, and then the blood had to go into a centrifuge to like isolate my white blood cells, and then the white cells would get irradiated radioactivity, and then they would pump the radioactive white cells back into me, and then wait a day, I think it was a day, and then go get like a radioactive scan to see if my white cells were going anywhere where like it shouldn't, like collecting somewhere, indicating that I still had infection. But I remember looking at the screen and all it showed was like my kidneys, so I don't know if my kidneys were being attacked by white cells or what, but they said it was nothing, so it was like all clear. But yeah, that was, so I had the most hugest bummer is that I still had to go dialysis, you know. Like I got my transplant surgery rescheduled for, of course, July 8th. It was supposed to happen in March 10th, you know. So it was like those extra months of dialysis I just probably couldn't have, or I didn't need to, if like somebody at the fucking dialysis and then get me sick with a staph infection. Like I said, like that staph infection was terrible. I was like shivering. I was having a fever. Like I was shivering bad. Like I had never been so sick before. But anyways, that was kind of like what dialysis is like. I tried to read sometimes when I was there, but the constant noise from everything just made it almost impossible. It was, the people that like helped me, I'm grateful to them, because a lot of them were really nice and were really understanding. Like, you gotta be in that situation, right? You're taking care of people. You can't, like, people get pissed because, you know, they're not, no one's happy there. You have a fucking giant needles in your arm, sucking your blood and putting it through a machine and making you feel like shit after. So a lot of people, some people were cranky, but they took it in stride, you know. I give them props for that. It was like some really nice people, and it takes a special kind to work that job. It's pretty demanding, especially for the people in the night shift who I ended up going to afterwards. I think that's mostly what I have to say. I'm just so glad I'm doing well. I can't wait to hang out with my friends after all this is done, like this recovery. I feel good. I feel like I should be able to go out already, but you know, you don't want to take any chances. Lana's not letting me take any chances. She's being really a stickler about that, but that's because, you know, she cares about me. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll try to make something else, give you an update and tell you about maybe other stuff instead of just this whole kidney thing. Alright, thanks.